Welcome back. So there's some festiveness here. There you go. I made sure the lights were white and they're not flashing, just in case there's anybody who has light sensitivity watching. I do try to make sure that I'm not aggravating them because I do know that that is a thing, and I don't have a way to put that warning that you see at the start of shows when you get the flashing lights and bright. Anyway, all that being said, let us go ahead and get into tonight's games. Starting off with the Winnipeg Jets and the Chicago Blackhawks. So, if you cheered for a Canadian team, it was a pretty good night starting with the Winnipeg Jets. It was Hellebuck versus Mrazek in this one. Early press by the Jets, Dubois denied. Sandberg has a shot that's tipped aside. The shots were 5-1 for the Jets at 5 minutes. They definitely started on time tonight. The Hawks score, but it's offside, so it doesn't count. Again, as soon as I see they're challenging for offside, I don't even put the magnet on the board. I just put offside challenge. I know it's coming back. The Hawks press at 7.5 minutes. Then the Jets press back at the half. Shots are blocked there. Power play for the Jets. That's killed off. Kurashev had a shot in close that was held. And then Harkins opens the scoring for Winnipeg. From Lowry and Asamont at 14:51, he buries that one in close. You know what? I'm starting to like Asamont. I saw him here in Abbotsford last year, and I thought he was okay in the game. I saw it. I didn't really see it, but anyway, yeah, he's looked pretty good here. So the Jets look for another. Lowry has a rush chance that's saved, but it's 1-0 Winnipeg after one. Second period's normally where you get your scoring. This game's no different. Kane has a rush that's defended by Wheeler, and then Menelainen scores from Barron and Tony Nato at 2:55. Good forecheck, and the rebounds buried. The fourth line showed up tonight for Winnipeg. It's 2-0. But at 3:12, so 17 seconds later, Chicago answers. It's Radish from Kurashev and McCabe. Good forecheck on that one. So we see your forecheck and we raise you one of our own. Athanasiou has a rush that nearly ties it. The Hawks get a power play. There was a shorthanded 3-on-2 that draws a call. We then had 46 seconds of 4-on-4. It becomes a 4-on-3 for the Jets, which became a 5-on-3. Bit of a parade. And Connor scores during the 5-on-3 from Morrissey and Scheifele at 8:37. Morrissey continues this amazing run he's been on. Good cycle, no chance for Mrazek. Hawks then killed off the 5-on-4, and then Menelainen scores from Barron at 9:52, wires it top far corner. The Hawks get a power play. There was a shorthanded Menelainen chance that saved. I don't remember writing his name on the board that much when he was with the Canes. Really good game for him. But then we get a power play for the Chicago Blackhawks that yields a goal here. Kara scores from Caleb Jones and Entwistle at 15:09. This is their second power play, their final power play. And then the Winnipeg Jets answer. It's Scheifele on a rush from Wheeler and Perfetti at 18:57. So, yeah, it is a lopsided score in favor of the Jets after two, and it is a quiet United Center. Third period, Pionk has a shot that's held. Few whistles early, and then Dubois scores from Connor at 4:37. The Hawks did try to answer. Things get punchy after a hold by Mrazek. Domi was denied in close. The Jets get a power play, and they score on it. It's Scheifele from Morrissey and Connor at 12:10. That made it 7-2. That would be your final. So the Jets 13-6-1 with an emphatic victory over the Chicago Blackhawks, who are now 6-11-4 with the loss. The shots in this one: 17-7 Winnipeg in the first, 14-10 Winnipeg in the second, 13-8 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots: 44-25 for Winnipeg. The Jets went 2 for 4 on the power play. Chicago went 1 for 2. The hits: 25-17 for Chicago. Hellebuck saves 23 out of 25. Mrazek saved 37 out of 44. That's going to hurt the save percentage right there. All right, next up, Seattle in against Anaheim. And before the game started, the announcer said this could be a trap game for Seattle. So, and what was interesting too was it was the Root Sports feed that I was watching. Their audio wasn't working. So I guess John Forsland got to watch a game without doing any commentary. So they had the radio crew from Seattle doing the game instead. They were pretty good. I honestly thought pretty good job there by the radio crew. Then Jones versus Gibson is your starting matchup. Sorry, I'll learn to talk. McCann would score on a face-off win from Eberle and Beniers at 33 seconds. So they get an offensive zone face-off and they make it work. Beniers continues to be red hot. McTavish is then denied as the Ducks press. Dunn had a rush chance that was blocked. The shots are 5-4 for Anaheim at 6 minutes. But at 6:53, on the fifth shot of the game for Seattle, they get their second goal. It's Wenberg from Burakovsky and Larson. So Seattle then looks for more. We were a post away from 3-0. It's all Seattle. Ducks get a power play. McTavish has a shot that's saved. Fowler has one that deflects out. That's killed off. Gibson then denies Sprong on a break. The Ducks get a power play, and they score on it. It's Troy Terry from Zegras and Fowler at 14-16. It was a 5-hole goal from in close. So it's one of those ones you look at and you think, should Jones have saved it? Maybe, maybe not. Anyways, Max Jones was then denied by Martin Jones on a 2-on-1. Dunn would score to make it 3-1 from Bjorkstrand and Gord at 19:33, and it was a result of a really good press in that final minute by Seattle. So it's 3-1 for the Kraken. Who knew? At 1:48 of the second period, Anaheim gets closer. It's Derek Grant from Vetrano and Strome. He roofs the rebound there. No chance for Jones on that one. Kraken then pressed for an answer. Geekie collided with Larson, so his own teammate. He had to be helped off. Didn't look great. Hopefully Geekie's okay because, he's having a pretty good year. The Ducks press. Silverberg hits the post. Schwartz is denied as the Kraken press. The Kraken then get a power play, and they score on it. And it's Beniers, red hot. He scores from Sprong and Schultz at 9:30. Buries that rebound. So it made it 4-2. And I thought, okay, so, Seattle should be able to bring this one home. Shouldn't be a problem. However, the Ducks get a power play. A power play which has had its problems during the season. It did not have a problem tonight. McTavish scores from Zegras and Fowler at 16:34. Ducks go right back to the power play. They score again. It's Henrique from Terry and Zegras at 17:55. So Zegras with 3 assists in the game, and it is a 4-4 tie going to the third period. Shattenkirk had a shot that was saved, but then Sprong. He scores from Donato and Beniers at 3:41. Now on the play, Gibson gets hurt. Lundestrom landed on him, and I thought I think it was Donato that kind of pushed Lundestrom. I was honestly a bit surprised that Dallas Aikens didn't challenge it, in that Gibson was down, and I know it was his own defender that fell on him, but could he have argued goaltender interference that the Seattle player pushes Lundestrom? I don't know that that argument could have been made, but they didn't look at it, so that was fine. But what wasn't fine was Gibson, because Gibson was out. Stolarz is in. The good news is Stolarz is a pretty good goaltender himself. Kraken had some momentum. Things get pushy after Stolarz holds onto the puck. And at that point, the Ducks are really being productive. They don't want the E-bug going in. As great as those stories are, you just don't want one. The Kraken get a power play. That's killed off. The goaltender would get pulled with 40 seconds left by Anaheim. Seattle did a very good job of preventing Anaheim from getting the goaltender out. So your final score is 5-4 for Seattle. It was a very scory evening in general. Seattle 13-5-3. They've won 5 in a row. Not too shabby. Anaheim 6-15-1. In fact, in terms of points percentage right now, I think Seattle's got the 4th best points percentage in the National Hockey League. Fantastic. Shots in this one, 14-11 for Anaheim in the first, 7-5 Seattle in the second, 10-7 Anaheim in the third. The Ducks actually outshot them 29-25. The power plays, 1 for 2 for Seattle, 3 for 4 for Anaheim. I think the graphics said they had 7 power play goals coming into tonight, and they had 3. Hits 21-18 Seattle. Jones saves 25 out of 29. Gibson saved 14 out of 19 before he got hurt. And Stolarz saves all 6 shots in relief. So Stolarz had a decent night. Gibson, hopefully he's not out for very long. Next up, Vancouver and San Jose. So, Demko versus Kakinen in this one. And I said last night, I think you start Demko. I think that last night on After Hours, they were like, well, I think you got to start Martin because this is an important game. I think you had to start Demko because it's very important for Demko to know you haven't lost faith in him. And he had a pretty good game here. So the net feed to Besser, near miss as the Canucks get off to a good start. The shots were 3-0 in favor of Vancouver at 3 minutes. Carlson broke up a 2-on-1. The Canucks pressed at 5.5 minutes. Eventually, Burrows gets the first goal of the game from Horvat and Miller at 7:26. I was amused at posts I saw regarding him. Maybe he should get the Norris. So Sharks press at 9 minutes. The Canucks get a power play. That's killed off. Gregor steals one and Demko saves. So after the first period, it's 1-0 for Vancouver. Although as that period went on, San Jose's getting their chances. Second period, Höglander couldn't bury one in close. The Canucks get a power play. That was killed off. Couture had a rush chance that was saved. The Canucks press at 6.5 minutes. The shots are 3 apiece at 9 minutes. Canucks press at the half. Kakinen holds there. Myers had a screenshot that was saved. And then one of the most bizarre goals. It just bounces up and over Demko, and it lands in the net. There's no way Demko could have seen that. Cunnin gets credited with the goal from Bonino and Benning at 16-12. But hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right? Canucks try to answer. They would press with 2 minutes left, but after 2 periods, it's 1-1. Third period, Patterson's denied. Rebound cleared. Besser had a rush chance that was saved. Near miss then for Mikheyev. The shots are 4-2 in favor of the Canucks at 5 minutes. The Sharks had a 3-on-1 that was denied. The net came off there. Power play for the Sharks, and they score pretty quickly, too. 5 seconds in, Couture gets the goal from Karlsson and Barabanov at 7:05. So Karlsson's on the board. And then Mikheyev answers. So this was a nice one for the Canucks here. Answers to get the game tied from Pettersson and Kuzmenko at 8:14. But the shots are 11-4 for San Jose at the half. That being said, at 10:44, on a great play by Mikheyev, where he's diving to get the puck out to the point to Ekman-Larsson, who then takes the shot that's deflected by Pettersson into the net. It's a 3-2 lead. And then the Sharks press for an answer. Canucks get pinned down. There's 7 minutes left. Cunnin had a shot that was blocked, and then Cunnin scores the second of the game. This one prettier than the other one. Not as bewildering. From Karlsson, his second assist of the third period at 14:45. And it was one of those moments that the Canucks lead protection is still the one thing I'm really concerned about. This team can score. I think Demko's shown now in 2 of his last 3 starts. He is getting his game back together. He is putting it back together. Play Demko, please. But the lead protection is still a problem. Now, we can take a look at it and say, well, it's a road trip and it's the third game of the road trip. Yes, but this has been a storyline with the Canucks, and I get nervous when this is going on. And it's not a problem they had against Vegas, but they definitely had that against San Jose tonight. The shots tell the story there. Canucks press in the final minute. OEL was then denied twice. We're going to overtime. Vancouver, going into this one, was 0-2 in overtime. San Jose 2-0 in overtime. Sharks controlled early, but the Canucks would get the puck. And Miller with a fantastic pass. So Hughes gets the puck, drops it back to Miller, and Miller just wires it to Kuzmenko, who beats Kakinen on that one at 1 minute and 12 seconds. So Kuzmenko absolutely demolishing it right now. If the Canucks are going to keep him, it's going to cost them some serious cash. At any rate, they win this one in overtime 4-3. It's their first overtime win. They go to 9-10-3, almost 500, tentatively close to 500. They get 6 points on this 3-game road trip. San Jose 7-13-4, so they take the overtime loss. Shots in this one, 11-7 San Jose in the first. Both teams had 6 shots in the second. 19-6 San Jose in that third period. And then Vancouver had the only shot in the overtime. Final shots, 35-20 for the Sharks. Power plays, Vancouver 0-2, and San Jose scored on the only power play they had. So the penalty kill is still an issue I see with the Canucks as well. But overall, they came out very well on this road trip. I can't argue with the results. The hits, 28-26 for Vancouver. Demko saved 32 out of 35. My concern was they would lose in overtime, and then Canuck fans would say, can't trust Demko, that's why they lost, when that would not have been the case. Kakinen saved 16 out of 20. It's another rough night for him statistically, and we'll see how San Jose bounces back from that one. All right, next up, Ottawa and LA. So this was the only game on at the time, so I had to make sure I didn't take like a copious amount of notes like I can when there's just the one game on. So it's Talbot versus Quick. Early jump for the Senators. They were ahead in the shots 4-0 at 3 minutes, so they had an excellent first period. And Tkachuk would score at 4:55 from Giroux and Shabbat. So Giroux continues his very good play as well. And it was a bounce off the end boards, and then Tkachuk buries it. So it was one of those plays that if that was on purpose, brilliant. Absolutely a billiard shot there. Shots even up as the Kings press. Sanderson fires one wide. The Kings clear it out. The Senators pressed at the half. Fiala's denied on a rush as Talbot had a very good game. Anderson has a shot that saved and then another. I also noticed LA tonight had Mikey Anderson, Elias Anderson, and Jared Anderson-Dolan in the lineup. All the Andersons are back, which is confusing for me taking the notes for the game. This was Mikey Anderson with 2 shots. As the announcer said, Mikey Anderson's taking a bit more of an offensive role over the last couple of weeks. Good, he's a very talented defenseman. Kings press with 5 minutes left. Mott had a shot that was held as the Sens press, and DeBrincat couldn't bury one in the final minute. But after the first, it's 1-0 Ottawa. Second period, Kopitar fires one wide on a rush. The Kings press at 2 minutes. Strong defensive play by Sanderson. So you have Anderson, Anderson-Dolan, and Sanderson. I even think the LA announcer called him Jeff Sanderson at the start, which is understandable. I make mistakes like that all the time where I call them by the parent's name. In this case, it's Jake Sanderson. So Stützle couldn't bury on a turnover. Kelly then had a shot that was held on another turnover by LA. So those were a problem for the Kings at this point in the game. Kempe has a shot that's held. That was the first really good chance in the second period for the Kings. So they were not getting to the net very much. Mott's denied on a break. The Senators press, but then we end up with a power play for LA as Ottawa takes a penalty in the LA zone, and LA makes them pay for it. It's Kaliev from Arvidsson and Danault on the power play at 10:23. But then the Senators get a power play, and they make LA pay. It is DeBrincat from Tkachuk and Stützle at 12:20, and that one just squeaked through. There was very little room for that goal to go in. It was both a good goal by DeBrincat and a goal where you wish that Quick had hugged the post just a little bit more. So the Sens press for another. Things get pushy after a hold by Talbot. Sens go to the power play. That was killed off. The Kings shortly thereafter get a power play. They score on this one. It's Kaliev, the first player for the Kings to get 2 goals in a period since, I want to say it was Jeff Carter, they said in 2016 was the last one that got 2 goals in the same period. Jersey and Danault with the assists at 17:35. I'm surprised it's been that long, to be honest. Kings then press for the lead, but we're going to the third period. Very limited notes because I thought it's West Coast. It's 7:30 start. This could go to overtime. So Kempe's denied in the first shift. There was a near miss for Stützle on the rush. Elias Anderson with a wraparound, that was saved. And then Anderson Dolan with a break, and he's robbed. So all the Andersons for LA in the offensive zone doing stuff tonight. Shots are 9-6 for the Senators at 9.5 minutes. The Ottawa Senators really brought through some of that energy from their last game into this one, and it feels like that fight back is real. So it's interesting watching Ottawa and Vancouver both kind of following a similar trajectory, going out on the road and determining we are going to turn this around. So Moore had a chance, was defended, I should say, by DeBrincat. Arvidsson's then denied on a rush, and we're going to overtime. And there wasn't much time in this. On a break, great stretch pass by Stützle. So the Senators had the puck in their own zone, and Giroux's just like, I'll just wait at center ice for the puck. And it works. So Giroux gets the goal from Stützle at 20 seconds, and he deked that around Jonathan Quick. And your final score is 3-2 in overtime in favor of the Ottawa Senators. They go to 8-12-1 with the win. With the overtime loss, LA's now 12-9-3 on the season. The shots in this one, 19-8 LA in the first, or 19-8 Senators in the first, 10-8 LA in the second, 11-9 Sens in the third. They got the only shot of overtime, the shot that matters. Final shots 39-27 for the Senators. If they keep playing like this, they could recover. The power plays, 1 for 2 for Ottawa, 2 for 2 for LA. Hits 37-32 for Ottawa. Talbot saves 25 out of 27. Quick saves 36 out of 39. And there are definitely parallels between the Canucks and the Senators right now trying to dig their way out of that hole they've created for themselves early. The good news is, for both Vancouver and for Ottawa, we are not seeing teams all on that 100-plus point pace right now. So getting back into the hunt and maybe getting back into a playoff spot is easier than it was a year ago. That being said, maybe it won't stay that way, or maybe hope is not lost for Ottawa or Vancouver. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And if you're looking for the recap of Arizona and Minnesota that happened earlier, that's already done. That's already on the channel, so you can look that up. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It means a lot. I will talk to you again soon.